Most men live lives of quiet desperation, shackled by invisible chains forged from fear and societal expectations. Are you one of them? I'm not talking about some abstract philosophical concept here. I'm talking about the cold, hard reality that stares back at you in the mirror every single morning. The life you've settled for, the dreams you've buried, the man you were meant to be, slowly suffocating under the weight of shoulds and musts imposed upon you since boyhood. Tonight we're going to rip off the masks. We are going to engage in something far more profound than superficial self-help platitudes. We are going to dare to bear. And no, I don't mean physically disrobing, although the metaphor holds a certain power. I'm talking about emotional nakedness, mental nakedness, spiritual nakedness. Stripping away the layers of pretense, the carefully constructed facades, the lies you tell yourself and the world, until all that remains is the raw, unfiltered, authentic you. The truth is going to sting. Prepare yourself, because tonight is going to be painful. We will delve into the most uncomfortable corners of your mind. We will discuss topics some will find offensive, and for good reason. I'm going to expose the raw, unfiltered truth about becoming authentically powerful. Not the superficial, chest-thumping alpha male nonsense that permeates the internet, but a deep, abiding power that comes from within. A power born of self-awareness, self-acceptance, and the unwavering courage to live life on your terms. Forget for a moment what the word alpha should mean and listen to what true power is. Picture this. A man, strong in appearance, muscles rippling beneath his tailored suit, driving an expensive car, commanding a room with his presence. Yet inside he's trapped. He's a prisoner in a cage of his own making. The bars are forged from the fear of failure, the fear of judgment, the fear of not measuring up to some impossible ideal of masculinity. He's constantly performing, constantly striving, constantly exhausted. He yearns for freedom, for release, for a breath of fresh air, but he doesn't know how to escape. He's like a magnificent lion packing restlessly in a zoo enclosure, its wild spirit slowly eroding, its roar reduced to a whimper. This man believes others must respect him, and he is shattered when that does not happen. He smiles when he wants to scream. He nods in agreement when he wants to rage. He swallows his feelings, buries his dreams, and plays the role he's been assigned. He's living a lie, and he knows it. Deep down, he's terrified of being exposed, of being seen for who he truly is, vulnerable, imperfect, and human. This man at night is a child crying out for help. But what if there was a key? What if this very conversation, this very moment, could be the turning point? What if, by daring to confront the uncomfortable truths, by daring to strip away the masks, he could unlock that cage and finally step into his authentic power? That's what we're here to explore. We're not here to offer easy answers or quick fixes. We're here to embark on a journey of radical self-discovery, a journey that will require courage, honesty, and a willingness to embrace the discomfort of growth. This is your key, your opportunity. The question is, are you brave enough to use it? Unmasking the facade, the lies we tell ourselves and others. Let's rip off the band-aid, shall we? Let's tear down the meticulously constructed facade that so many men hide behind. I'm talking about the lies, the self-deceptions, the carefully crafted illusions that keep you trapped in a life that's less than what you deserve. A life less vibrant, less powerful, less real. The myth of the unflappable man. This is the biggest lie of them all. Society force-feeds men this image of the stoic, unemotional, invulnerable hero. He's the rock, the unwavering pillar, the one who never cracks under pressure. He's the concrete statue. Impressive perhaps, but utterly lifeless. He's a dam holding back a raging river of emotion, a pressure cooker set to explode. Look closer and you'll see the cracks forming in that statue, the hairline fractures spreading across its surface. You'll feel the tremors of the impending earthquake. This repression, this denial of your natural human emotions doesn't make you strong. It makes you a ticking time bomb. It leads to explosive outbursts of rage that shatter relationships, leaving behind a wasteland of regret. It festers into silent, corrosive depression, eating away at your soul like acid. It manifests as chronic stress, physical ailments, and a profound sense of emptiness. How many men do you know who have had heart attacks in their 50s, their bodies finally rebelling against decades of bottled-up stress? How many marriages have crumbled under the weight of unspoken resentment and emotional unavailability? How many fathers are emotionally distant from their children, perpetuating the cycle of repression? This isn't strength. It's a slow, agonizing form of self-destruction. The comfort zone trap. Why do men willingly confine themselves to the soul-crushing cage of mediocrity? Because it's comfortable, it's predictable, it's safe. The comfort zone is like a warm, stagnant pool. It might feel pleasant at first, but eventually it breeds disease and decay. It's a ship rusting in the harbor designed for grand voyages across the open ocean, but instead it's slowly disintegrating, never experiencing the thrill of the waves, the challenge of the storm, the discovery of new horizons. Are you that ship? Are you content to rot away in the harbor of your fears, never testing your limits, never discovering your true potential? Are you settling for a half-life, a pale imitation of what you could be, simply because you're afraid to fail? The truth is, failure is not the opposite of success. It's a stepping stone. It's a lesson learned, a chance to grow, a catalyst for transformation. The greatest men in history weren't those who never failed, but those who dared to fail magnificently and then rose again, stronger and wiser. Excuses, excuses. Oh, the endless litany of justifications. I'm too old. I'm not smart enough. It's too late. I don't have the time. I don't have the money. These are the whispers of fear masquerading as logic. They're the bars of your self-imposed prison, each one forged from doubt and insecurity. Let's dismantle them one by one. Too old. Colonel Sanders didn't start KFC until he was 62. Not smart enough. Einstein was considered a slow learner as a child. It's too late. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison and still changed the world. Every excuse is a lie you tell yourself to avoid the discomfort of growth, the challenge of change. It's a choice to remain small, to stay hidden, to avoid the responsibility of living up to your potential. What excuse are you clinging to right now? What lie are you telling yourself that's keeping you from becoming the man you were meant to be? Name it, confront it, destroy it. The illusion of control. Men are obsessed with control. We want to control our emotions, our environments, our partners, even the unpredictable flow of life itself. This is another catastrophic lie. The harder we try to control everything, the more frustrated and anxious we become. Life is a raging river, and you can't control the current. You can only learn to navigate the rapids, to adapt to the unexpected twists and turns, to ride the waves of uncertainty with skill and courage. Trying to dam the river only leads to a catastrophic flood. This desperate need for control often manifests in toxic behaviors, micromanaging, dominating relationships, refusing to ask for help, and suppressing vulnerability. It's a desperate attempt to mask insecurity, a fragile shield against the perceived chaos of the world. But true strength lies not in control, but in acceptance, in surrendering to the flow of life, in embracing the unknown, in finding peace amidst the storm. The fear of judgment. Why do we crave the approval of others like a drug? Why do we allow the opinions of strangers to dictate our choices, to shape our identities, to limit our potential? This fear of judgment is a crippling disease, a cancer that eats away at your self-worth. It's a lion cowering before sheep, a king abdicating his throne to the whims of the crowd. Imagine a magnificent lion, the apex predator of the savannah, trembling in fear at the bleating of sheep. It's absurd, isn't it? Yet that's precisely what many men do. They allow the fear of what others might think, their colleagues, their friends, even complete strangers, to dictate their actions, to silence their voices, to crush their dreams. The solution: cultivate unshakable self-belief. Build a foundation of self-worth so strong, so deeply rooted that it's impervious to the storms of external criticism. Understand that the only opinion that truly matters is your own. Live your life according to your own values, your own principles, your own definition of success. Let the sheep bleat, the lion roars, stripping down and building up, the path to authentic power. Are you ready to wield true power, the kind that resonates from your very core? I'm not talking about superficial dominance or brute force. I'm speaking of authentic power, the unshakable strength that arises when you strip away the pretense and build yourself up from the bedrock of truth. Prepare yourself, because this journey is not for the faint of heart. It demands courage, honesty, and a willingness to confront the parts of yourself you've kept hidden in the shadows. Radical self-honesty, the brutal truth about your strengths and weaknesses. Forget the self-help platitudes and the comforting lies. We're embarking on an archaeological dig into your soul, a meticulous excavation of your very being. Imagine yourself as an archaeologist, carefully brushing away the dust and debris of years of self-deception. You're not here to condemn, but to understand. What are your true strengths, the talents and abilities that set you apart? Not what you wish they were, but what they are. Are you truly a leader, a creator, a strategist? Or have you been pretending to be something you're not, forcing yourself into a mold that doesn't fit? And now, the truly difficult part, your weaknesses. What are the flaws you desperately try to hide, the insecurities that gnaw at your insides? Are you prone to anger, to jealousy, to procrastination? Do you fear commitment, rejection, or failure? Write them down. Every aspect. Do not judge. Stare at them, acknowledge them. This is not about self-flagellation. It's about clear-eyed understanding. It's about knowing the terrain of your inner landscape so you can navigate it effectively. Only by acknowledging the cracks in your foundation can you begin to reinforce them. Only by shining a light on your darkness can you begin to dispel it. This requires brutal, unflinching honesty. Are you brave enough to face the truth? Vulnerability as strength. Shatter the misconception that vulnerability is weakness. Society has brainwashed you. It has force-fed you the lie that vulnerability is a liability, a sign of weakness to be suppressed at all costs. But I tell you that is utter garbage. Vulnerability is not weakness. It is the ultimate act of courage. It's the willingness to stand naked, emotionally speaking, before the world, imperfections and all. Think of Nelson Mandela, emerging from decades of imprisonment, not with bitterness and rage, but with a willingness to forgive and reconcile. Think of Martin Luther King Jr., facing down hatred and violence with unwavering love and a dream of equality. Their vulnerability, their willingness to expose their hopes and fears, was the source of their incredible power, their ability to move mountains and inspire millions. When you allow yourself to be vulnerable, you connect with others on a deeper, more authentic level. You break down the walls that separate you and create space for genuine intimacy. You show the world that you are human, flawed, and real, and in that realness you find true strength. Isn't it exhausting, constantly maintaining a facade of invincibility? Imagine the liberation of dropping that mask, of allowing yourself to be seen, truly seen for who you are. The world needs fewer stone-faced robots and more men who are brave enough to be vulnerable, confronting your demons, identifying and facing your deepest fears and insecurities. This is where the real battle begins. This is your hero's journey, your descent into the underworld to confront the monsters that lurk within. What are your deepest fears? What are the insecurities that keep you awake at night? Is it the fear of failure, of rejection, of being alone? Is it the shame of past mistakes, the guilt of unfulfilled potential? We all have them. These demons thrive in the darkness, feeding on your avoidance and denial. But I tell you, they are not as powerful as they seem. The moment you shine the light of awareness on them, they begin to shrink. The key is to identify them, to name them, and then to confront them head-on. There are powerful tools at your disposal. Journaling can be incredibly effective. allowing you to pour out your thoughts and feelings without judgment. Therapy can provide a safe space to explore your deepest wounds with the guidance of a trained professional. Meditation can help you cultivate inner stillness and observe your thoughts and emotions without getting swept away by them. Don't expect this to be easy. It will be painful, uncomfortable, and challenging. You may want to run, to hide, to bury your head in the sand. But remember, the only way out is through. Face your demons and you will emerge stronger, wiser, and more resilient than ever before. Redefining masculinity. Throw away the outdated playbook. The old model of masculinity is obsolete. It's a rusty, outdated machine that churns out emotionally stunted, repressed men who are afraid to feel, to connect, to be truly alive. We need a new definition, one that embraces the full spectrum of human experience. A new man is not afraid to show his emotions, to express his love and affection, to be vulnerable and compassionate. He is strong, yes, but his strength comes not from brute force or dominance, but from his integrity, his empathy, and his unwavering commitment to his values. What does masculinity mean to you? Don't let society dictate your answer. Define it on your own terms. Embrace qualities like kindness, generosity, and emotional intelligence. These are not feminine traits. They are human traits, and they are essential for building a fulfilling life and meaningful relationships. The new man is a leader, but he leads with compassion and understanding, not with intimidation and control. He is a warrior, but his battles are fought with courage and integrity, not with aggression and violence. He is a lover, but his love is expressed with tenderness and respect, not with possessiveness and domination. Building unbreakable relationships. How authenticity fosters deeper, more meaningful connections. Imagine two mighty trees, their roots intertwined beneath the surface, providing unwavering support for each other. That is the image of an unbreakable relationship, a bond forged in authenticity, honesty, and mutual respect. But such relationships cannot be built on a foundation of lies and pretense. They require radical openness, a willingness to share your true self, your hopes, your fears, your vulnerabilities, with another person. This means communicating honestly, even when it's difficult. It means expressing your needs and desires clearly and respectfully. It means listening empathetically to your partner, truly hearing and understanding their perspective. It means being willing to apologize when you're wrong, to forgive when you've been hurt, and to work through challenges together. Authenticity is the glue that holds relationships together, the bedrock upon which trust and intimacy are built. When you are genuine, you attract genuine people into your life. You create connections that are deep, meaningful, and enduring. You build relationships that can weather any storm, that will support you through thick and thin, that will enrich your life beyond measure. The power of purpose, how to define your life to the core. What is the fire that burns within you? What is the driving force that gives your life meaning and direction? Without a clear sense of purpose, you are like a ship without a rudder, drifting aimlessly on the sea of life. You may achieve fleeting moments of success, but they will feel hollow and unfulfilling. Finding your purpose is not a passive endeavor, it's an active pursuit, a quest that requires deep introspection and a willingness to challenge your assumptions. Start by asking yourself some fundamental questions. What are you passionate about? What are your unique talents and abilities? What impact do you want to make on the world? Don't settle for easy answers. Dig deep. Explore your values, your beliefs, your deepest desires. Your purpose may be something grand and ambitious, like starting a movement or changing the world. Or it may be something smaller and more personal, like raising a family or pursuing a creative passion. The size of your purpose doesn't matter. What matters is that it resonates with your soul, that it ignites your passion and gives your life meaning. The process of defining your purpose might be challenging, maybe lasting months, a year, even more. You will have a lot of questions and a lot of doubts, but the result, the final achievement, will be incredible. You will find the reason to be, to live, to fight, to wake up every day, to live intensely, to love every single moment. Once you discover that core purpose, everything changes. You have a reason to strive, a direction to follow, a fire that fuels your every action. You become unstoppable. You will find the inner power to do anything. The world doesn't need more men hiding behind masks. It groans under the weight of manufactured personas, of hollow shells pretending to be something they're not. We're suffocating in a sea of inauthenticity, drowning in a culture that rewards conformity and punishes genuine expression. Look around you. Do you see strength and vitality? Or do you see a parade of quiet desperation, of men slowly withering away, their spirits crushed by the relentless pressure to fit in, to conform, to pretend? The world is crying out for something real. It needs men who are brave enough to be real, raw, and unapologetically themselves. Men who have stared into the abyss of their own souls and emerged, not unscathed, but whole. Men who have ripped off the suffocating mask of societal expectation and dared to expose the vibrant, flawed, magnificent human being underneath. Are you ready to join their ranks? Are you ready to finally shed the dead weight of pretense and step into the blinding light of your true self? Are you ready to strip down, layer by layer, until all that remains is the unshakable core of your being? Are you ready to face your fears, those snarling demons that have kept you chained in the darkness for far too long? Are you ready to confront the shame, the doubt, the insecurities that whisper insidious lies in your ear? I'm telling you, the path to authentic power is not paved with comfort and ease. It's a brutal, exhilarating climb up a jagged mountain, where every step demands courage, honesty, and a willingness to bleed. But the view from the summit, the feeling of absolute freedom that comes from owning your truth, from living in complete alignment with your values, from embracing your imperfections as integral parts of your strength, that is a prize worth fighting for. So I ask you one last time with the full force of my conviction, are you ready to strip down, face your fears, and claim your authentic power? Don't let another day, another hour, another second slip away while you're living a lie. The time for excuses is over. The time for hesitation is past. The time for living a half-life, a muted existence, is done. The time is now. Step forward, be bold, be real, be you. The world is waiting.